Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker, it's good to see you. Listen,
you're a Bitcoin maximalist. You're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.
Hey, I don't have all the answers, but together, I know we can find them.
all right, everybody. Hey, welcome. Oh, no, it's already looking sticky. Sticky on my end. Landy's here with me. You know, I don't know what this is with the stickiness. The sticky. So here's what I do when it gets sticky. And Landy's right there waiting. I'm just going to just redo this, and everybody just, all 10 of you, just hang on for 20 seconds, and I'll be right back, and it's going to be clearer. So there we go. If that's not an auspicious beginning, I don't know what is. Landy's in the background. He's going to join me in a minute. But I'm going to set this up first. Let's readjust here a little bit. Yeah, I'm in Wisconsin. I'm not at the normal studio in Nashville where I have better Wi-Fi and everything. But I'm going to set this up with a couple things before Landy joins me. Today we're starting with and, you know, Landy and I are, of course, going to talk a little about Iran. But I think today we're not going to actually get in a big argument. I think we're going to actually get to some solutions because a lot's happening here. But I want to start with something that I think sets the stage for all of this. In Bozeman, Montana, the other day, a bull bison goes after this guy and his grandson. Now, the guy wasn't like taunting the bison or anything. You know, they tell you not to get too close to them. You know, they say like 25 yards probably. Yeah, it seems a little close to me, but okay, whatever. But it's mating season. And the bull was lying down, and the grandpa, who's not like some, you know, he's like he's like an outdoorist guy, you know, taking pictures. Other people are taking pictures. And this bull gets up and goes after him and the grandkid. Runs around. They run around the tree like a car goes by. The bull charges around behind him, comes after him. First things first, you know, I've spent a lot of time in the outdoors. I've never encountered a bison, but I've encountered a lot of animals: grizzlies, black bears, mountain lions, moose and bison. They're much faster than you think. Bison are fast. They're fast. They're like 30 miles an hour. He just goes after the guy, and he hits him. He just puts his head down, hits him. The guy literally, it's like in a cartoon. The guy goes like 10 feet up in the air and just goes sailing. Broke a bunch of bones. He lived. But the moose just like put his head down and went boom, bye-bye. And I thought, I'm not judging this guy. I mean, I always think, you know, be careful when you're taking pictures. I had a mama moose come after me when I was taking pictures of her years ago because she was trying to protect her calf, and I was in a canoe and I thought I could get away. Well, she's the fastest swimmer I ever saw. But more importantly, I feel like it sets the tone for our time. Bison's kind of, you know, been here. You know, they were the indigenous, the Native Americans, the bison. I feel like Donald Trump's the bison. Donald Trump's the bison in this story. When you get him mad, when he's quote in heat, whatever that means, I don't mean like sexually. I just mean when he's wound up, you know what? He's gonna get you, and he's gonna toss you, and he's faster than you think, and he's stronger than you think. America politics is going upside down. Lindsey Graham dies suddenly. I'm going to ask Landy, but I'm sure he wasn't poisoned. But I thought about it. He comes back from Ukraine. Interesting. Appears to have a heart attack. Interesting. But Lindsey Graham dies. Sam Neill dies. I don't know the connection of that is Jurassic Park. They're both about the same age. Sam Neill's probably a little older. Jurassic Park, dinosaurs, bisons, Lindsey Graham. Mitch McConnell's like, you know, all these people showing up like disappearing. The congressman who disappeared for a few weeks said he was in a he was in a hospital because he was depressed. I don't know a lot of people go to the hospital for 3 weeks when you're depressed. I have depression, like serious clinical depression. I may go to a psych ward, I suppose, but in any case, McConnell disappears for a while. They just kind of disappear. Lindsey Graham dies. McConnell's going to die. Chuck Schumer's going to get not reelected. We're having a changing of the guard. The old people are dying off or leaving. The new people are coming in. And on the right, they're the like Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Congressman Lunas, those kinds of people, even the Masseys, younger. But they're not traditional Republicans. But a lot of them are fed up with Washington already. And on the left, you got the lefties. You got the Graham Plattners, who somehow did not get called out until the final straw of finally the ex-girlfriend's like, well, he actually raped me. Everything else was okay. Nazi tattoos, saying horrible things about vets and black people and women, and being physically abusive and being called out for being physically and emotionally abusive and pushing the limits. It's all good until you say the word rape, and at that point, boom. Graham Plattner's gone. His final words were "Free Palestine." Wow. And we're back at it with Iran, and this is where Landy joins the conversation. We're back at it with Iran. Landy's going to say he knew, this was always in the cards. I'm going to say, I don't think this is what they wanted to have happen, but thank God they finally realized enough with you guys, enough with you clowns. You pushed Trump just a little too far. Like I said, you got the bison mad. Now he can't lose. He's embarrassed, and he doesn't want to lose, and he can't lose because he's got the bigger army and the bigger power and all the cards, so to speak. He just didn't want to play this out right now, but he's going to play it out right now. And I think we're heading for a regional war. So I'm going to bring Landy because now Saudi Arabia and the Houthis are at it. And, Israel's ready to go, period. They're like, by the way, we don't care about any of this stuff. We're going to launch when we want to. I think the whole thing's crumbling faster than a crumble cake cookie. I'm bad with those analogies. Let me bring Landy in. It's always fun to have Landy here. And we don't have as much time as normal. Not because of Landy, because of me. But let's see if I can just drag him in here. Hey, Landy.
Hey, Rob.
So, Landy, there's my setup. I let you take it for a minute from here. I'm going to start out, like I said, by saying I'm sure you said everything that's happened. You probably did say this is likely or possible to happen. And they thought this all through, and these were all expected possible outcomes. I'm going to ask you, you don't really think this is the one they wanted to happen, right? They didn't want to have to go back to this, right? They were kind of hoping, even though I don't know how they could have thought they'd have a deal with these guys. They were kind of hoping they could, right?
No, never. Not even for a second. And you should know this by now. So I was joking around in some back channels, when the last trip that I took to DC, staffers were literally taking bets with each other for how long it would take for Trump to actually notify Congress again that he was going to be striking and going back to war with them. And I told you and David specifically, right from the very beginning of the ceasefire, the 60-day clock was out. Congress wasn't going to approve any further action, right? And we knew that Congress was going to fight him the whole step of the way, every step of the way, right? And after the 60 days was up, we went ceasefire, right? And then we went to blockade and then MOU. And why was the MOU even important? Everybody wants to go, oh, well, it's because they wanted peace and Trump wanted the taco and like all this stuff, right? No. You needed to get them to capitulate and sign an agreement of some sort. Doesn't matter who it is. Somebody from the representative regime, even if their regime is in shambles, has to sign that agreement so that he can actually say, okay, you violated the agreement to the point at which now we are going to strike you again and we get to reset that 60-day clock. And that's exactly how it played out. I said this from the very beginning, especially when the MOU talk came up, as the important part is they get it signed, which is why they were reluctant to sign anything, because they know that they're going to give him latitude to not have any recourse from within the United States to stop him from striking if they screw up. And they are so fractured that even if they wanted to adhere to the agreement, there's no way they possibly could. They are too fractured in terms of the distribution of power across the IRGC and the military there that you can't possibly wrangle all of these people to be on the same page. You're going to get the hardliners that don't want it and want to screw it up. The US knows this. We've known this for a very long time. None of this is new to us. This is not new. This is not unfamiliar territory for anyone, including Trump. So this was a foregone conclusion. I will say, I said this from the very beginning, and I've maintained consistency throughout, that this was going to be the outcome at the other side. The only pushback that people have ever given to me is like, well, no. He's concerned about the midterms. And I've said this over and over and over again. People aren't going to feel it in their pocketbook until after the midterms, no matter what happens. So right now, the political game for the midterms has to be fought in a different way in terms of the political game for the midterms. They're two separate things. I think that Trump, from the very beginning of strikes, was willing to give up ground in the midterms. I think he knew that because it would be pushing oil in a specific direction, that being up, which is going to cause pain throughout the supply chains, which causes prices to rise around the world. Now, today, what you saw was, and I said this, oil to 68 to 70 was a gap fill from where it started before it ran up prior to the war and the conflict. It ran up to that 100 and then dumped all the way back down, gap filled. I was looking for a bounce there. I informed everybody about it last week and the week before. Coming into that area, look for a bounce here, look for a structure change. We went into a lower high. If we break that, we're likely going to be pushing the mid 70s and above, and towards the $80 region. And if we start to see closes above 80 for WTI crude, then we're likely looking at that accelerating into the mid to low 80s, and then mid to upper 80s therein. And now what gets hurt the most, though? It's not actually WTI and oil here in the United States. It's actually Europe that gets hurt the most. They just had a 10% increase in the daily for oil here for Brent. And who else just started to float the idea of declaring the IRGC as a terrorist group? Well, that would be the UK. So maybe they're ready to stand up now. I guess that's for the audience because I don't think Rob is connected anymore. Hi, I'm Landy. I'm a puppet. Well, technically, what you're seeing is the puppet. I'm the puppeteer. And, but yeah. Wait, I heard him come back in. There he is. You back, Rob?
Yeah, I'm here. The Iranians are jamming my camera.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's either Iranians or you're gonna get somebody jumping in the chat and be like, nope,
it's the only way to interrupt you. It's the only way to interrupt you. I have to just reset. So, Landy, I only have till the bottom of the hour. So I've given up on getting either you or David to ever acknowledge either one of you's ever been wrong, which is interesting since you both say different things. So I don't know how you can both always be right.
Well,
I tend to think
I've been consistent, right. Rob. You know this. He's been
consistent too.
I have been 100% consistent since the very beginning. I have not changed my tune on this.
I said that we will go back and forth. I'm saying either way,
I can pull the clips.
I will give you credit. I will give you credit that you said eventually we would likely end up here if they didn't. I don't know that I can agree with you that we knew they were going to bail on this. I believe Trump wanted out of this thing. I just am convinced. It's so apparent he wanted this to end. He kept saying, it's going to be over soon. He didn't want it to keep going. I think he honestly hoped that there was a sooner solution. And unfortunately, he realized the only solution now is to where it always was, which is these guys never honor anything. By the way, I know you said they're a fractured leadership. They are. But I honestly believe, I don't think anyone in this government intended ever. The Iranians somebody said it really well. The Iranians can't win a war and they can't lose a negotiation. Like, they stall out every negotiation. They have for 40 years. They stall everything out. Like, how long they took just with procedural stuff on the MOU. We're 30 days into this MOU, right? Which was a joke from the start. And there's nothing been done. I mean, except they keep violating the terms, and now we're all back
Brother,
shooting at
they
each other.
fell
Like
for it. They
30
fell
days
for
in,
it
they never
during
intended to
Rob,
negotiate something in
during
60 days.
negotiations, they were still firing missiles, okay?
I know.
This is how you know that the
They haven't
US
stopped.
knew that
They haven't
But
stopped.
here's my point to you. My point to you is in no world did this administration ever think that they were going to actually come to fruition in terms of an actual agreement at the end of this MOU. The MOU was simply to get ink to paper so that you got an excuse to go and extend another 60 days of strikes. That's purely what it was. And this is well known in the Beltway. This is well
Yeah.
known. In Rob, you should
Yeah.
know that. Call some people up that you know from the Beltway
No,
and
it's
tell
not,
me that they're
Andy, it's
not that
not
they
that.
don't know
Here's
this right from the very
well,
beginning.
no. Here's what I'm saying, and this is where we disagree. And I don't think it's like I can't win either way. If I say Trump doesn't know what he's talking about, you or anyone else will be like, give him credit. If I say he does know what he's talking about, then he's being hypocritical, and I don't understand why. He has no reason to have kept saying he thought this MOA was going to lead to a really great deal with Iran. He could just say we're trying to do it. We're trying our best. He did say we're not sure. We're trying our best. And in fact, I doubt they'll ever make a deal. Instead, he kept promising it's going to be a great deal. We're going to have a
Here's the
great deal.
flaw in
We're
that
going to make a
logic,
great
though.
deal.
Here's that
Like,
flaw
why
in that
say that?
logic.
No.
Trump has
Why
never
say that?
operated this way. He always hangs a carrot out there to pull it back. He always does it. And
Well,
when
okay.
you say that I'm trying to listen to me real clearly here, because this one is really important. What you do is you make it seem like you really, 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 really want a deal done. Oh my God, yes, we totally want a deal done. Meanwhile, you know for a fact that they're going to violate the deal so that you can go and get done what you really want to get done. That was the play from the very beginning. That's what I told you was going to
Maybe.
happen. And now here we are with it playing out.
I find, if nothing else, Landy, I might agree with everything you're saying. The way he's communicated this has been a train wreck. He has hurt. Well, you're not going to agree with anything I say, but I'm telling you, he's hurt his political chances for his party. He's sent massively confused. Hold on. You don't have to like it. He's sent massively contradictory messages, which is all over the media now. And you can go, well, that's just the media. The media is the media. If you say opposite things all the time, they're going to say it. Even Fox News sometimes now goes, well, he said the opposite thing last week. Like, I don't get why you don't just have clear messaging if your message is clear, because your message is pretty clear from day one. We're going to give you a shot in a negotiation, but we don't really think it's likely to work because you're already violating the terms. Instead, he's like, well, they didn't really violate the terms. I mean, they just shot some missiles, not really hurt anybody. Like, how about no, you shot a fucking missile. You violated the terms. Good thing you didn't kill somebody.
He's
But like
never
instead,
changed.
he's like,
You're
oh, it's not that
ascribing
big
this
a
to him.
deal.
He's been the same since he was in office the first term. He's never
It's
changed.
always
This is the same.
confused me that he messages so erratically.
Always... how is this confusing? If you've actually studied Trump, how is this confusing? He has always been this way. He has always been this way.
Well,
From his days on The Apprentice to the pageants.
Okay, it's confusing. It's not confusing to me. It's confusing if you want to make it, if you want your argument to be true. I think, and I will always think, the fundamental driving force for President Donald Trump is to win. I don't care what anybody says. He's Jesus. He's God. He's been an amazing president in some ways. His fundamental goal is to win, and he's incapable of acknowledging anything ever, even temporarily, is a loss. So he can never say we didn't get what we wanted. We have to get what we want every time. So when the tables change, oh, we got what we want again. But wait, I thought what we wanted was the other one. No, this is the one we wanted. Like, he can never say it didn't work out exactly as planned. Can never say wasn't our best day.
I think that is you editorializing. And quite frankly, that's what the media is.
Oh, come on, Landy. Can you not at least acknowledge that the guy is incapable?
I refuse to acknowledge it because you have literally just stated what the media does.
He even admits he can't lose. He said it about Charlie Kirk. He's like, he can't lose, and he wants to destroy anybody who gets in his way, and he pretty much admits it. I mean, I don't know why that's such a hard thing for someone to admit. Like, it's pretty obvious that the guy hates losing. Period.
And he keeps winning. He's beat in every case that they tried to throw at him. He's beat.
Yes,
He
except
beat.
except he lost. Except he lost an election, and he still can't admit he lost it. I get. Granted, I think they
Oh
rigged it,
wait,
not the
wait
way
till
he thinks they
Thursday.
rigged
You
it.
know what's coming out Thursday, right?
They didn't steal the election the way he said they did. They
Oh,
rigged it
okay.
through the media. They
Okay,
rigged it
Rob.
through. Rigged it through information. They rigged. They didn't. The vote
Yeah,
count wasn't enough
how
to
come
like
those
tip
20
you.
million voters didn't show up again in 2024? I wonder. Weird. Where'd that come from?
Andy, you
20
really
million
believe
extra
the
votes.
election? You
Joe
really believe the
Biden, the
election
most
was rigged
popular
that way?
president in American history,
Oh,
80
Joe Biden was
million votes. All
well
legit,
because it
right? All legit,
because
right,
people
Rob?
because people hated Trump.
Oh yeah,
People would have
that's
voted
it.
for a
But
scarecrow.
they didn't hate Trump in 2024. Yep.
Yeah, sure they did. These have all been close elections. I mean, other the
Cool. Then what
electoral
happened
count
to
wasn't that
20
close.
million voters? We have
Andy, how
consistent data.
many?
It was the most outlier data we've ever seen in an election in
Andy,
2020.
so you are willing to go against every single person, even strong Trump supporters who acknowledge, even Vice
Yes.
President Vance says they didn't stuff the ballot boxes, but they rigged the setup so that people didn't know what they needed to know, and they tilted the tables so that you wouldn't know
Did you
things
see
that led to it.
did you see
He's even
Spencer
said that
Pratt's
publicly.
video about what they did in the elections here and how they worked the system? Did
I
you see
did.
his video? It was a really good
I
video,
did.
right?
I
Because
did.
it's technically because if you
You're too
don't look at it, it's not illegal, right?
you're
Because,
too
oh, well, no, we're
conspiratorial
following.
for me in this.
No, it's not
Sorry.
conspiracy. I literally worked on the California Audit Commission that audited 2020. We found over 230,000 votes in Southern California alone that were not valid that they still counted for the federal elections. So you're talking to somebody that actually knows their shit on this subject. So this is something that I haven't talked about with you, but I can tell you right now that there is massive problems, and the massive problems are with the mail-in votes, and they
I
rigged the
agree.
system in a very specific way in which they could game the system, and places like California actually wrote the book for it, and it was the part of the election commission here in California that set this system up here went to all of
Uh,
these other states that really helped do the damage in 2020.
Listen, I agree in theory. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. I agree in theory. The system is set up. It's definitely they've codified it into law. The harvesting of votes, the mail-in ballots, it's all a scam. It allows for a lot to fall through the cracks. The voting machines weren't rigged. The entire election wasn't rigged. That's why ultimately Trump couldn't even get his closest supporters to go down that path. Trump couldn't accept, even if it was kind of because the scales were tilted against him, that he lost. He'll never accept a loss, Randy. It doesn't matter if it's a legit
Trump
loss.
wasn't
He'll
the
never
one that
accept a loss.
brought you're mixing what Trump has said and what what was her name said about Dominion and
Yeah.
Smartmatic, which Trump never
Well,
repeated. That was not something that was not a Trump initiative. That was
anyway,
actually
let,
in his
listen.
in
Let's move
the
on from this.
movement.
This is one of those topics that's been litigated so much, and like I said,
No, it
I'm
hasn't. The
gonna.
courts have never actually looked at the evidence.
No, I meant litigated in public opinion. The courts have
Yeah,
looked at a lot of this stuff,
and
but
until
not
it's
all of it.
actually litigated, that's when we'll actually have
Well,
answers.
it's time. It's time to move past it, and I'll give Vance credit for
Don't
that. He
fix
knows
it.
that.
Let's just move past it. Don't fix it.
Well,
Don't
no, you
look.
got to fix it. No, we should fix it, but that's the point. We should fix that. I actually like things in the Save America Act. We should be making legislative changes to fix it. The
If they really
Democrats
want the
played
Save
within the
America
rules
Act
they wrote.
passed, if
The
they really want the
Democrats played within
No, they
the
didn't.
rules they wrote.
No, they did not. They rewrote the rules so that they
Well,
could
that's
game
what
the
I mean.
system.
That's all I'm saying. We're saying the same thing, Andy. They wrote rules and they played within those rules. That's maybe shitty, but that's different than what Trump said, which is that
No,
they
it's not.
actually
No, it's
just
not because
stuck
the rules
at.
that they wrote are patently illegal.
Well,
That's the
we'll see.
problem.
Okay. Somehow, with 5 minutes left, we've gone down this rabbit hole. I was on a mission to not have an argument with you tonight, to actually find one place where you go, Rob actually got something right, and I'd find 5 places for you. But I don't think we're going to get there. So I don't think we're going to
Well,
find one place that you have
what I will
agreement that
bring up
you're just going to say that I'm, And I will tell you, I don't care if you or anybody else believes me. Donald Trump says hyper contradictory things. It doesn't help him. He does it because his ego is so big. I don't know why it's hard
Right.
for people to acknowledge the guy has a massive ego. That's why he's president of the United States twice.
It's got way more to do. You can have two things be true at the same time. You can have somebody that understands how to play the game and have a massive ego. And he
I
understands
agree.
how to play the game. He understands how to play the
I
game.
never
And I
said he
think that,
doesn't.
but you don't give him credit for playing the game. You just think that you only ascribe it to
No,
ego and not
I
playing the
do give him
game.
credit for playing. No, that's what I don't get. You don't get.
He
It's sort of a
played
funny
Iran,
thing.
and you won't admit that he played Iran. He played him
Ultimately,
like a fiddle.
ultimately, I wouldn't call it like a fiddle. I mean, he doesn't want to be going to war again, and we are.
How do you know
He doesn't
didn't
want
wanna go
Iran to be
war?
holding
You're the
up the
one
strait and
saying that.
raising oil prices.
You're the
I
one
don't
saying
think.
that. When has he said, I don't want to go to war with Iran. I want this all to stop. And he's never once said that.
Well, he actually
He said
has.
he
He said,
hopes
"I'd
for a
like to have
positive
peace." He
outcome.
said, "I'd like to have a peaceful outcome," but he also said the war would be over in 3 weeks. So when he started it, he clearly didn't expect this thing to be dragging out for 4 months. Uh, Otherwise, he would have said it's going to be a bit of a long war here. He thought it would be done quickly. It wasn't. They then had to calculate for the fact that Iran was like a cockroach and wouldn't die. And now they're stuck having to like go back and do it again, and they're gonna have to keep doing it again. And now Iran's gonna like try to take,
Do you
like
want us
be.
to strike them or not? Do you want us to take them out or not, Rob?
Well, of course, I do. I wanted us to suffocate. I
Okay,
didn't want
then
us to lift
stop
the blockade
bellyaching
to
about
start
it.
with.
Then stop
Well,
bellyaching about it.
that's easy. See, that's a convenient. That's what I don't know if they call it in arguing, but where you like go, well, since you're happy with the outcome, you can't look at the process, and I can look
No,
at
no,
the
no.
process
You can
because I think
you
we
can
set
have valid
ourselves back.
critiques of the process, but if it still meets the goals and the aims of what you were trying to get to, then why are
I
you so
don't know,
upset about
Landy,
it?
to be honest. I don't know if it does because I don't trust that they will stick with this if Iran comes back to the negotiating
They only
table.
have 60 days to do it.
Now, they can extend the memorandum.
No, no,
They
no.
can
You don't seem to understand what I just said to you. From the War Powers Act, they still only
right.
have 60 days
Yeah,
legally.
well, first of all, every president has been good at getting around the War Powers Act. Nixon was, Clinton was. Well, I guess they did it around Nixon because of that. But Bush. I mean, the War Powers Act, yes, but now they're back in. They have 60 days to do this. But again, if Iran comes back to the table next week, I'm worried they're going to go, okay, so we're stopping and we're trying to pick up the negotiations again. That's what I'm
It's
afraid
okay
is going to
because you
happen.
get to extend the clock. The clock gets
No,
to
it's not
stay.
okay. You have to.
Yes, it is.
The more room you give them, see, this is where whatever. The more room you give them, the worse it is, and I think you know that.
Well, then
There's
why
no
is Rob a
benefit
general in the
in letting them
military?
breathe.
Why
Why
aren't
let them
you part of
breathe?
the Joint Chiefs of Staff then?
Well, and Landy, neither are you.
Yeah, but there's
No,
something
that's this is
here
the
where you
argument. Just
think that
because
you're smarter
you have
than them.
opinions, I have opinions.
Yeah,
Landy, I'm not
we can
calling
have
anyone
opinions,
stupid.
but are you smarter than
I'm not
they are?
calling anyone stupid. I'm not calling anyone stupid. You know what? This is a COVID thing. This is what people said in COVID. Early on in
What?
COVID, I literally called everything. And then I became friends with the Robert Malones and the doctors and the people fighting it and the Robert Kennedys. But
Robert
early
Malone
on,
is
I said
great.
it all. Early on, I said it all. And people were like, are you a doctor? Are you Anthony Fauci?
No.
I don't have to be a military expert to have common sense. I've watched Iran for 40 years. I've talked about it for 40 years
Yes.
publicly. I can see that they are a regime that has literally had a mandate from day one. That regime still exists. Their mission is pretty clear. They stall, they never honor any commitments, and they do the opposite of what they've said. And they have a fundamental goal to destroy Israel, have a nuclear weapon, and hurt the West. That's pretty clear. I believe the only way to kill that
Mhm.
is to suffocate them completely. Every day you give them a day off to suffocating, you give them a chance to catch their breath. We should not
Well,
take our foot off of them. We should not lift the blockade again. We should not stop shooting at them until the 60 days is up and then take a break and do it again until they say uncle. That's what I think.
you do
I'm
realize
allowed to think that.
you do realize that once we start hitting them, all the cockroaches started running and they exposed themselves, which is why what I just mentioned to you out of the UK, I don't know if you heard me, but the UK is finally considering declaring the
Yeah,
IRGC a
they are going
terrorist
to.
organization. Why didn't they do that all these 40 years? Because they were funding them. They were helping them. They were giving them cover in their countries, allowing them to
Hmm.
live there, bank there, raise their
Hmm.
children there, because these people aren't the actual zealots that they've been made out to be. They are useful idiots who are getting rich by oppressing a nation and being the antagonist that allowed people to launder money through wars in the Middle East.
Well, I like
And
that
you have to
perspective.
break the back
I
of
will give you
that.
credit for that. Well,
They have to break the back of that, right? You have to cut off all of their exits first. And now, if UK's gone, if you got Russia gone, if they really are gone and out of it, and if China's not doing it anymore, they're left on an island all by themselves. And they gotta then now they gotta fend for themselves against a growing coalition, right? That's where I'm at with it. And look, Rob, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. What I vehemently disagree with is the framing of this as Trump didn't know what he was getting into. That's the only thing I disagree with you on. And also, I
I
wanted
actually
to bring
never
up
said, I want
Lindsay.
to be clear. I never said that. I said I think he
You've
wished that
expressed it.
we'd gotten out of it sooner.
I
I didn't
look.
say he didn't know what he's getting into.
I
I
would guarantee.
guarantee you, I guarantee you, as you've said, every single thing that's happened, somebody game planned for. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean plan C was the plan you wanted. They had a plan B, a plan C, a plan
Oh,
D, an original
plan
plan
A
A.
would be we sit down and we have lunch together and everything's great. And now we're friends and we can all have a party together
See,
later.
that's
That
what
would
I'm
be plan
saying. I
A,
don't
right?
think
But
that's
that's never
plan
going to
A. No,
happen, right?
I
That's
don't
never
think
going to
that's plan
happen.
A. Plan
Well,
A is we bomb them in a joint campaign with Israel, and their government is so weak that the people rise up and knock it down, and we can clean the problem up in a couple months. That plan didn't quite happen, so we moved to plan B. I'm sure they thought of plan B. They thought of plan B, Iran takes the strait. They thought of plan C. They thought of plan D. I'm just saying I think Trump wanted out with plan A. Like, let's do this and be done in 3 weeks, not drag this out for 4 months. I don't think he's stupid. I think he's had to pivot
I
to the
think
new
I think
plan.
that it's I think that the optimistic scenario was probably like, hey, if it goes this, it's never a concrete, I have my heart set on this. It is that, hey, we adjust on the fly. And that's exactly what they do. And that's exactly what's been happening. Look, I wanted to bring up, you brought up Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, we have
Um,
3 minutes because I have to leave
yeah,
because I have a short show today.
his sister, I believe, is going to be, was
She will
that
be.
what I
She was
saw
just
earlier?
appointed. Governor
Okay.
McMaster just appointed her today.
Okay, I wasn't sure. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, for as many misgivings I've had with some of his takes on things over the years, he has been a very powerful and critical supporter of the president. Even when he has been critical of the president, he has always gone on to support the president and his endeavors.
Eventually.
Yes, eventually. Well, and I think that odd circumstances, that's for sure. To
It
have a
is.
heart
I mean,
attack like
he's
that.
always been a fascinating person, and it is odd circumstances. He comes back from Ukraine, talks to the president, has a meet the press thing. He's not feeling well, tells whoever's there with him that he doesn't want he wants to wait till next day after the meet the press thing, and then dies. I mean, it's possible, right? Somebody could have poisoned him. Some pro-Putin side in Ukraine could have poisoned him, but it's also possible he just had, a heart thing.
Yeah, I know that that it's his father, same kind of thing, heart attack, same kind of way
Right,
almost. Yeah,
right.
it's unfortunate. I think far less speculative than because his seat wasn't a for sale seat like a Mitch McConnell, who just is
No,
going to be for sale
no.
to the highest bidder at any point, or a Feinstein,
Right.
right? Just to
I
stifle
just all
agendas
these
and get
people,
rid of
Andy.
what
It's
was
just
party.
this old school people. I'm getting tired of Lindsey Graham wasn't that old. That was just sudden. The
Yeah,
Dianne Feinsteins. I saw Dianne Feinstein this is what I saw Dianne Feinstein almost 10 years ago. And she could barely fucking talk. Like,
yeah,
it was so sad, there's and then by the end, I mean, she didn't even know where she was. And she's
yeah.
still,
It's just
everyone's like, she's fine.
McConnell.
Joe Biden, her, Mitch McConnell, all these
Who's
people.
the other
I'm like,
one?
you're
There's
ancient.
there's another one too. There's
Yeah, I
another
gotta
one right
think
now.
of them.
Same kind of
There is
thing.
another one. Oh, Maxine Waters.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, I'm not saying because they're old. I mean, Trump's old, but and by the way, if I hear one more person say, we need to start listening to Trump, he might be losing his mind a little. I mean, seriously? Like, the guy's faster than, I mean, see, what do you come up with every new thing you can? Well, he called it the Strait of Israel or something, like, whatever. And I call things shit all the time, but like, wow, that guy's going, like, I don't know, he's like the Energizer Bunny out there. Like,
Yeah, and apparently he doesn't sleep. Yeah, for those that it's
but
been pretty
anyway,
well
yeah,
documented,
these
he doesn't
old
sleep. Yeah,
people who really are not serving, they're not able to serve. They're just proxies, and it's like
yeah.
too many of them, and their offices all say they're fine, they're this, they're that, you know, and it's like, so they're not even there. Their staff are running them. Their staff are voting for them. They're Joe
Hmm.
Biden's. They're Joe
Yeah.
Biden's. Chief of staff's running the show.
McConnell's been that
It's
way for at least 3 years already.
Yep, and Feinstein was that way for like 6 years.
Yeah, yeah, and it's these are not. This is not good. What our Congress really we need a big upheaval in Congress.
We do. And unfortunately, Landy, part of that is what's triggering this wave of the socialists. I
Yes.
mean, and you got it on the right too, but you know, I was in like I said, the Congressman Lunas, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, this younger cadre of people, you know, but a lot of them are leaving or getting tired because they're like, they hate the system. And, you know, if they say one bad thing to Trump, he throws them under the bus. The other side, these Plattner types, they're just coming in and they're filling a void of like, you want that old person anymore? And people are like, no.
I mean,
It's
Plattner
scary.
could have literally ran as a far left or far right candidate, and you wouldn't
He
have
could
known the
have.
difference.
He
Yeah,
could
you
have.
wouldn't have known the difference, and but that's not going to be a national winning
Great point.
strategy. It's going to be very highly localized on a national general election. It's going to be very tough
Yeah.
for like a socialist or a far right person to actually get any kind of
Well,
national traction, but it's definitely going to keep increasing regionally.
yeah, you know, and I got to go, but I will say this, you know, I've gotten convinced from your argument before. You're right. I don't think Republicans lose the Senate, especially now with Plattner.
Yeah, no,
I wondered about Susan Collins, but I think now she'll pull that one off.
she's always been
I
an
do think they still.
overperformer.
I know, but this time I thought maybe she wouldn't be, but now she will, because they don't even have a candidate at the moment.
No, they don't.
But
They don't. And I think Plattner's going to stick it to him now too. I think that's going to backfire on them, pushing them out too late.
It's ugly. Yeah, the pattern repeats itself. The pattern repeats itself. And didn't I just watch this?
Yeah, I
Didn't
guess.
see this with the
Well,
president?
we literally just watched this with Kamala and Joe. Just throw them out and throw Kamala in there at the very last second. Not a good thing.
And hope for the best and blame everybody but yourselves for why it doesn't work.
Yeah, and the stable
But
is
I do
really
think
thin
the
over there
House.
for the Senate for them.
I do think the House is likely to still go to the Democrats.
Probably, probably a thin margin. They probably take it, but I think the opportunity is still there in the next few months. I've been keeping a close eye on the crosstabs, and I know they're shifting around a little bit. But one thing that I told you pretty early on, a couple like month and a half ago, when I brought up crosstabs, one of the things that we're seeing even in the liberal state of California is Trump's base is growing and getting stronger, which is interesting. Although there's not any candidates out here that are going to win out of those districts, but on a general ballot, you know, if we're seeing that even in a liberal state like California, we're probably going to start to see that shift even more aggressively towards him. The closer we get, you know, we'll have a good idea probably around August, September timeframe about the House.
Yeah, if we do next week, we talk all domestic politics. No Iran.
Yeah, let's.
We talk all domestic politics, U.S. economy, you know, the markets, whatever, but we keep it here because this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to shape everything in the next, you know, couple of years.
I agree, Rob.
All right, Landy, I have to jump. It's good to have you on, you and your monkey.
It was great to talk to you, Rob.
Maybe you need a couple, you know, new avatars so you can switch them out, you know.
I'm gonna come on with a MAGA hat on next time.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, how about you get the Bitcoin hat away and go with the MAGA hat? I like that. That's not hard. Maybe change the outfit.
a Trump 2028 shirt.
There you go. There you go. Like my friend Joy Villa, who wore the Trump dresses to the Grammys. You know who she was?
Joy's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Joy. I love Joy and
Yeah.
her Trump dresses. Actually, yeah, I just talked to her the other day. I love her. I want her to come on. I should have her come on sometime when you're on.
She should. Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
right.
She should. Maybe she'll recognize my voice.
She might.
Maybe.
She's awesome. She's awesome.
Maybe.
All right, man. I let you go. Thanks everybody
Rob.
for watching me and my sticky feed. I'll see you next week, Landy.
Take care.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Meet Rob Nelson, talk show host.
Because you got the 70s thing going there. I got someone's underwear.
Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker?
It's good to see you. Listen,
If you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.
Hey, I don't have all the answers.